Okay, slight cock up on the audio from the visuals, so I'm going to have to do a voiceover on this one. This is the bière blanche, the wheat beer or witbier that I've been brewing from a Cooper's kit with some extras in. There's another video you can see here. Now, because I want the yeast in it, I'm not going to force carbonate it, so I'm going to prime the keg using 5 grams of sugar for every litre of beer. So I'm using 100 grams of sugar here. Because it's such a small proportion of the overall sugar that was fermented in the brew, I'm just using ordinary household sugar. So I'm going to put the sugar into the keg, trying to get it inside rather than over the top of the keg. And now I'm ready to siphon the beer into the keg. So first of all, I'm going to run water through the siphon tube after I'd sterilised it, just to make sure there's no sterilising solution left in there. And then I'm going to trap some water in the tubing, just so it kick-starts the siphoning, so I don't need to suck on the end of the siphon tube and risk any germs or microbes getting in there and ruining the beer. So I just need to take the lid off the fermenter. Now I want to taste how this beer is going to be, get a good idea of the flavour before it's finished, a bit of a sneaky peek, so I'm just going to grab a glass here and hopefully I can fill a small amount into the glass whilst I'm siphoning the beer. So I lower one end of the tubing into the beer there in the fermenter and the other end into the keg, open up the siphon tubing, the water that's already in there will fall through into the keg, drawing behind it the beer that's in the fermenter, and siphoning has started, and that will carry on until all the beer's gone through. Now let's see if I can't just get a small amount into the glass. I have to say it's a bit of a pain doing this voiceover rather than the audio I'd already thought I'd recorded whilst doing the video, because I'm going to feel a bit of a wally trying to pretend to taste the beer on a voiceover. But I can tell you that I was very impressed by the first taste that I got there. Obviously it's not fizzy because the carbon dioxide will have escaped out of the bubble trap in the fermenter. But there, it's already looking the part. It's got a slight haze to it as a wheat beer would do. Maybe not as much as a normal wheat beer, but I'll tell you the flavour. The flavour was really good. And I'll certainly be using the coriander and orange peel in an all-grain wheat beer. But I was so impressed with the result here that I think I might brew this again with the Cooper's Australian kit, because it was such a quick one to brew. As you may have seen in the other video, the Cooper's Australian lager kit, using a yeast which is the bière blanche yeast, along with the coriander seed, the orange peel, and a few more hops. But yeah, that was very good indeed. Definitely going to do that again, and can strongly recommend you try it yourself. So now that's all siphoned into the keg, getting every last bit of the beer, I can put the lid on the keg and then seal it by connecting to my carbon dioxide cylinder through the regulator, ramping up the pressure to about 20 to 30 psi. That'll seal the lid, and then I can leave it in an ambient temperature for the yeast that's in there to ferment the sugar that I've put in there. It'll build up pressure, but it'll also give the yeast a bit of a kick start, because remember, with it being the bière blanche, I do want the yeast in there to add flavour. So now the lid is sealed, I can disconnect from the cylinder and take the keg and leave it to ferment. After around about a week at the ambient temperature, I can then move it to a cooler place and leave that for a couple of weeks before sampling.